this video, we are going to be talking about why women are more financially as compared to men. We all know that America has a student loan crisis. There is $1.7 trillion in student loan debt, and women own 2/3 of the debt. Moreover, the sad reality is that for every $1 that a man makes, women only make 70 cents of it. Women have more degrees as compared to a man. And they're also going into colleges and universities, in general, higher education, in order to have an acceptable salary. But that salary is still less as compared to a man's. So not only do they have more student loans, but their pay is less. And therefore, it will take them longer to pay off those debts. According to a study, by 2027, 40% of jobs will either require a bachelor or master's degree. And that's why 74% of women want to continue an education beyond their bachelor's degree. Moreover, research done by Urban Institute study has found that over 46% of households is being headed by women. Women are actually the breadwinners in over 46% of marriages. Now, the earlier statistics I talked about of a woman earning 70% to the $1 that a man earns, it gets even worse for colored women. Black women make 63 cents and Latina women make 58 cents as compared to the $1 made by a man. Now, all of this detail that I mentioned earlier applies for women in the workforce. But what about the women that do unpaid labor? We all know that caregiving is extremely expensive in America. And that's why a lot of women give up their careers to take care of their families at home. A woman on average loses $237,000 in her lifetime because of unpaid caregiving work. Moreover, research has found that caregivers have taken on more debt, have spent their emergency savings, have halted saving for future emergencies, withdrew from a retirement account for non-retirement reasons, or stopped saving for retirement altogether. Women today have higher student loans, there is a gender pay gap, there's also a racial pay gap, and a motherhood penalty have all impacted women's finances today. The impact of student loans along with the gender pay gap has a huge impact on women's finances. They probably will be paying off their student loans even when their own kids go to college, because that's how big the impact will be, because the repayment will just take so much longer than a man to repay their loans. This will halt investing opportunities, other opportunities to buy assets, opportunities to retire early or even retire at all. What can we do as women? First and foremost is the type of majors we are choosing in college. Now, just going to college or university doesn't directly impact the amount of money you will make. There are clearly some majors where you will make more money. And the sad reality is a lot of women don't choose those majors. There's a big disparity between the majors that are chosen by women. A lot of women don't go into STEM, whereas a lot of men do go into STEM. And if you just do a basic search on the best paying majors of 2023, it is comp-sci, engineering, electrical engineering, chemical engineering, computer engineering, petroleum engineering, mechanical engineering, biomedical engineering, and finance. These are the top things that you get. And if you go to any of these classes today, there will be a lot more men as compared to women in these majors. For example, personally, I have a comp-sci major, and in my computer science class, there is a huge disparity in the amount of men versus the amount of women in the same class. There were a lot more men. And even in the workforce today, I work in a bank and a lot of my peers are men as compared to women. So choosing your major is extremely important, and that is in your hands. As a woman, you need to do your research and make sure that the investment that you are doing into your career, which is definitely a debt, needs to be paid off. It needs to be worth it. And that basic math has to be done to make sure that you are not financially fucked. On the other hand, there's actually good news, because research has found that 88% of millionaires have actually graduated from college. 52% have a master's or doctoral degree. We also see that 46% of households are actually run by women, which is really, really great. Honestly, like the 1920s, you can't even think that this is something possible where a woman would be the breadwinner of the family, but this is a reality today. But along with being that, you need to be aware of basic finances. Basic financial literacy is extremely important. And some common things are having an emergency fund, having 3 to 6% of an emergency fund in case something goes wrong. And 58% of Americans today do not have that. So it is definitely not that common, even though a lot of people talk about having an emergency fund. Another thing is to live below your means. We have obviously heard of lifestyle inflation, which basically means that the more your income increases, the more you are spending, which basically nets to zero because your living expenses are so high. The goal is to live below your means and increase your income. The more disposable income you have, that disposable income needs to go into investing so that money eventually can work for you and you can attain financial independence. Financial independence is basically when your finances can pay for your everyday living expenses. You can withdraw 4% of that investment every year, and that money should be able to pay for your living expenses, and that is the ultimate financial independence. The goal is to have a financial goal and strive towards attaining financial independence. And for that, there will be a lot of sacrifices. You might not go to holidays. You might not be able to buy something that you wanted, but it will definitely be worth it. For that, you need to create a budget and stick to it. A lot of Americans today do not invest, do not have a budget, and that is really hindering your financial progress, which is extremely important. And the fact that so many women are breadwinners today is a suggestion that yes, women have figured out how to make a lot of money, but what to do with that money is also extremely important. And the sad reality is money is not something that we talk with our friends and family. It is just a topic that people don't want to talk about because it's just weird and gives people anxiety, but it is extremely important. Money is at like the center or one of the main things of life. And it is also a reason for so many, it's like literally the most common reason for divorces today. So it's definitely not a small topic but it's not taught in school. It's not something we talk with our peers. So there's just a lack of knowledge with it. But just these basic rules of having an emergency fund, living below your means, having no debt by default if you have a budget, and if you live below your means, you definitely won't have a lot of debt. If you do have debt, which in this case a lot of women do have, which is the student loans, you need to chip at it. Look at all the different interest rates. Look at all the debts you have. Look at their interest rates and start paying it off. Financially, you will definitely know to pay off the one with the highest interest rate first. But if you're not that type of person and the bigger amount gives you anxiety, start paying off the smaller ones. Anything that you do, any small step will make you feel better. I feel like we don't talk about debt. A lot of people don't want to look at their bank accounts because it gives them anxiety. Like, it makes sense. Try looking at it. Like, you not looking at it will make the problem bigger. I hope this video was helpful, and I do feel like women going to colleges and having that degree is definitely worth it. Like, it makes sense. They will definitely be making a lot of money, but what to do with that money is also extremely important. And the sad reality is that for the pay gap to be same, it will definitely take a lot of time, a lot of transparency laws, a lot of gender pay gap laws need to be done, and that definitely is not in our hands. But what is in our hands is to learn about finances, be more financially literate, and also help the women around you to make better choices, especially the ones that will have a huge impact on your life, like going to college and what major you are choosing. And now on YouTube, there are a bunch of videos talking about what majors will be the best return on your investment. Like, when I went to university like 5 years ago, that was not very common. You could not find that information, but today it definitely is there. And you have to do your due diligence just to learn to be more financially savvy. That will really help into you becoming a millionaire or whatever your financial goals are. So I hope you liked this video and got something out of it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.